Hello and welcome to The Next Big Star. I'm your host, James Kelly, and today we have Georgette Dante with us.
Ta-da-ta-da.
So Georgette, she's a woman of many talents, a show promoter, a magician, a strong woman with a strength of 300 to 400 pounds. Is that right?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. You're featured in several movies. You have a six-piece band called the Hubba Hubba Band.
That's right.
And you even fight alligators.
Have in the past.
You have in the past. You're not doing it.
No,
Still
no.
aren't you?
No.
Oh, God.
Part of my history.
Yeah, okay.
History.
You were once buried underground for a whole week with 102 rattlesnakes? To what? To promote a boxing and wrestling?
That's right.
How did you do
Had a
that?
lot of marijuana.
Okay.
They were happy. I was happy. They didn't know why they were happy.
So did they
but
have
I
the
was
marijuana
happy.
too?
No, I'd blow it. Trust me. I
Yeah.
worked for 3 months after I caught them. I had bought them different places. I worked for them 3 months before and laid by the cage with the bathing suit on, blowing smoke into the cage. And they got used to it, so they were very happy.
So, but they were fed during
But
all this time.
I fed them real good. First fed them with liver,
Uh-huh.
and I would take a pencil with the rubber tip, push it down their throat, so I want to make sure they weren't hungry.
Uh-huh.
And it just worked with them. And I milked them. And each rattlesnake, I milked them before.
Oh, you milked them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So-
all right. Yeah.
So if you figure 102, they
That's
got
a
mad.
lot. I don't even know how you can do
in my
that.
van in Chatshow, Louisiana, for a whole week. I was about 17.
So
18
was
years
this
old.
televised?
Back in those days, you didn't have all that. The televised was supposed to be there. It rained for several days. I got publicity, but I was 17, 18 years old.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
So
the
you-
carnival, it's a carnival.
And you are an MC, a comedian, and a show promoter. Okay. All right. So
I'm
I
a movie
want
producer now.
Yeah. But I want to ask you about
Okay.
your early days.
Okay.
You started performing at age 3.
3.
So give me an idea of your family's background.
Well-
Start before you were born,
Before.
because I know your family was.
Well, yes, my great great grandfather Jacques Suzanne, him and Elmo Perry, we were good friends. Elmo Perry, my great great grandfather Jacques Suzanne owned a motion picture camp in Lake Placid, New York.
Okay.
He trained huskies and wolves for Warner Brothers.
Okay. So he
and
was an animal trainer.
Yes, more than that, he's a famous photographer and did artwork as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
And Elmo Perry, they both left New York City. Took him 3 years to go across the North Pole.
Okay.
Elmo Perry beat my great great grandfather by 3 days.
Wow.
But at least he went across the North Pole. And then my uncle, Slim Baker, Leonard Baker, he did stunt work for John Wayne in movies.
Wow. Okay.
I'll tell you a good story about John Wayne.
Okay.
The one time they didn't need my uncle Leonard. He also was a stunt worker, and he also was a bronco bull rider. Just all my people are show people. 6th generation on my mother's side, fifth on my stepfather's side. Mostly circus and carnivals. I was born in Ringling Brothers. But back to my uncle. One time they didn't need my uncle to do any stunt work in the movie with John. John Wayne had the studio pay my uncle $500 a day to sit there and light his cigarettes up.
You're kidding.
I swear to God. What a beautiful thing.
$500 a day just to light the
And that's
cigarettes.
been a lot of years ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
A lot of years ago.
Yeah.
And then, I was born in Ringling Brothers Circus. My grandmother's a horseback rider in Ringling Brothers Circus. And I started performing at age 3. I was born in Ringling Brothers, but raised in a carnival.
Okay.
I started performing at age 3 as a pretend midget with a wash off of the boobies.
So you really were just 3, and they made you.
With the makeup. No
But
makeup.
how did you do that though? If you're age 3, how did people
Makeup.
buy into the fact that you were a
Look at the
midget?
kids nowadays in the movies, TVs and stuff now. They're little children now with makeup on and high heels. And back in those days, didn't have those kind of things. We put makeup on a child, anybody, it turns them
But
around.
you wouldn't have sounded like a midget though,
Well, we weren't
or
necessarily.
a small person.
You weren't a small person. You weren't necessarily talking to people. I was performing, and I started performing at age 3 as a pretend midget. By the time I was 6 years old, I got too big.
Okay.
I grew my part.
Okay.
Then I was a wild girl from Africa.
Okay.
That's a geek.
Okay.
It's not a smart person. Your days, geek usually means
Right,
someone
right.
intelligent. Back in those days, had geeks, and we had a man named Shadow, and he was a drunken alcoholic.
Okay.
My dad he would get in a pit, and he drank the wine, and people would walk around, look through him through the screen, and look at him down, and he'd grab chickens and he'd bite the chicken's heads off.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, later I had to do this.
Oh no.
When he died, carnivals, you got 3 months to make your money, state fairs.
Right.
It's a seasonal business. And when he died, my father had no time to fool around because you only get 3 months. You get shows open, you got to keep going. He pulled Shadow in the back of the tent, back in the woods, and left him. My mother takes a gunny sack. Back in those days, you had potatoes in gunny sacks.
Okay.
She cut holes in it and a hole here. Put it over me. Well, back in those days, you had beatniks. And Ivan was in the ticket box, and Ivan says, "She's not dirty enough. She's not dirty enough." You know, as far as looks, appearance. So he said, "The wine bottle. Take the cork off the wine bottle." So she did. She burned it and put black all over it, and maybe all nasty, dirty, and all that. And now the wild girl from Africa.
Ah, okay. You were the wild woman.
But when the snakes, sometimes there'd be snakes in there. I wanted to work so much with biting the chicken's heads off because I wasn't about to do the chicken thing. When I was really, really young in the carnival, some carnival people, not all, because most of the carnival people, they have beautiful homes, they're business people, and they own this equipment. But we get a bad reputation from the people we hired from different towns, hiding from the service, hiding from the army, hiding from something. So we get blamed for carnival people, and not even our people, your cousins, your uncles. But you know, they want to have a good time, and they're just hiding out in the carnival. So back in those days, my daddy had a vicious gambling habit. He'd always gamble all the money away.
Okay.
And he would, before that, the town people would come, and he'd call the marks in, the suckers, and gamble with them. He'd gamble with them, and win all kinds of money.
Wow.
At the end of the night, he'd go to the G-top, where all the carnival men were, in the G-top, and gamble all the money away.
So he'd win it and then lose it.
He'd win and take it to town people. He'd get around his amongst the carnival people, and he'd gamble straight gambling games and lose all the money all the time. We never had no money. And the pickpocketing part, I used to do pickpocketing, but I put as part of my show, the acrobatics, the fire breathing, the pickpocketing, the hypnosis, the strong woman, the bullwhip artist. I do a variety of different shows. I did in the past. And I see one of the carnival people do the pickpocketing. So I was trying to do the pickpocket. I'm like 6, 7 years old. I can't reach to take the wallet. So the carny said, "Take a razor blade, take a razor blade." So I cut the bottom of the pocket. When people would walk along,
and then they would
the
fall
wallet
out.
would come out, take under the arm. I'd go like an idiot. That's all it was. Go back to my daddy in the G-top. He'd take the money, gamble all the money away. Didn't know how much I stole. Pickpocketing, bootleg, and even bootlegging. I was a bootlegger too back in the days. You know, a bootlegger or something.
It's amazing you're admitting all this.
Well, it's part of the life of what it was. It caused survival.
And you didn't know anything
If that's
else.
all, that's all you know. It's like my mother used to beat me severely, and my father used to beat us. I mean, you go days at a time and don't sleep. You're popping pills to stay awake because you got to drive. We drove 80 to 100,000 miles a year between the circus, the carnivals, the bands, the boxing, the wrestling, the different shows I'm in. I would drive 80 to 100,000 miles a year, and you had to keep going. So you'd pop pills to keep going. It's just part of their life, and it's just called survival. So one time my mother was beating us severely, and my father would take my brother's wrist, hold him out, take a middle wood file, and beat him until you break him. I got belt buckle scars in my body to this day. He'd have me take the clothes off. He beat us with the belt buckle. That's the way I feel about abusing battered men and abusing battered women.
Right.
That's the movie I just got through doing
Yeah,
recently.
I saw
You saw
that.
it too
I
as
did
well.
see it, yes.
Called Abusing Battered Women.
Yeah.
And men do go through the same thing. 'Cause, you know, women can be rough.
Yes.
So the same thing. So my parents took it on us.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understand about the abuse situation. But back to some things. What else you want to talk about?
Well, so that's an interesting part of your life. So after you left the circus, what was next?
Oh, the circuit went from carnivals to promoting boxing, promoting Willie Pastrano, ex-like champ of the world.
Okay.
Willie Pastrano.
What did you do for him?
I promote his boxers and his he was no longer the champ of the world.
Okay.
He was training boxers. I would train boxers.
Okay.
And I also promote boxing and wrestling. I also train wrestlers as well.
Okay.
So a variety of different types of situations. And
Because you had a lot of different career changes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
went from the carnival to this,
Uh-huh.
boxing training or whatever. What was next?
oh gosh, my parents own a major parade company in Louisiana.
A what?
Parade company.
A parade company?
We had the biggest parade company in the South. At one time, we built them.
So
we
when
built-
you say
we-
parade, what kind of parade?
Parades.
With the...
Mardi Gras.
Oh, wow, okay.
In Louisiana, you got frog
Like the
festivals.
floats and everything?
Yeah, big float. We had our show. We had the biggest floats in the South. We rent the floats out for Louisiana, Georgia, Carolina, Texas, all through the South. At one time we had 2 locations. One was in right outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was Mickey Geller's club. His club had burned down.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mickey Geller's club burned down and had a huge warehouse. So one time we had 44 parade floats. We built.
Okay, wow.
Again, you work 18, 20 hours a day, 2, 3 days, 4 days with no sleep, building floats. And my mother and I, we also did the artwork and helped my daddy build the floats.
Okay.
And when we had to deliver the floats for different parades, we'd rent them, take them to them, and bring them back. We'd always have shorter drivers. There'd be drunks and dope heads, and they just show up. They wouldn't show up. You have 35, 40 floats, and then you go in a different direction, maybe 4 drivers will show up.
Okay.
And they'd be all boxed out of their head most of the time. Because in
Yeah.
Louisiana, they party animals down there pretty much. Not only all Louisiana, but, they have a pretty wild reputation in
yeah,
Louisiana. And so that type of situation. So we deliver the floats and then go get this one, come back, go this one, come back and forth, and then just nonstop.
All right, so that was that era. When did you get into burlesque?
Always because I started stripping at 12 in the carnival.
Really?
My parents did the carnival again. They had a traveling nightclub called a girl show.
Okay.
And a girl show, back in our days, it was like a nightclub. You didn't have, when you went to movies back in those days, if someone said a cuss word or something on a movie, the whole audience,
Right.
it was taboo.
Right.
I mean, you just didn't do it. There was no magazines, there's no nightclub that was gay. So when the carnival came to town with naked girls. So when I was 12 years old, girls again, shorter girls, I'm 12 years old, with the makeup again, and here now.
But you didn't do total nude, though.
I did because I had no hair and I could do eyebrow pencil and draw it hair. So I can do a complete strip. No one knows who you are. People sometimes put things on Facebook quite often. People, oh, that's Harvey Parent. Look, it's called survival. First place, town people don't know who you are. And in carnival, people know it's part of our life. And again, I was trying to get back to the story about my mother when she used to beat us really bad in that type of situation. And my brother finally said to my mother, she tried to apologize. She didn't know how. He said, Mother, if you knew better, would you done different? Simple as that.
Right.
That's all we know. And it's like saying they're abusing bad men, abusing bad women. When they're being abused, they just don't know any better. That's all they know.
I think you're exactly right. I actually worked with a doctor, or I had a doctor in Atlanta, Georgia, and we were talking one day. He had to do a surgery, and we were talking about what he does on the weekend. And he would go to the mountains in Georgia, the backwoods of Georgia. And he would go to the prisons, and he would have to meet with the men who had committed incest with their children. Because they didn't understand what they were doing was illegal. That was wrong. Because that's all they knew.
That's all.
And so it's hard for people to grasp that and understand it. But if that's all they know,
exactly,
how do you convince them what you're doing is wrong? This is illegal.
Because it's part of your life.
So, that's, and we're only talking 20, 30 years ago that he was doing this. Yeah. So it is true. I think if they don't know, if that's the only life they've known, if they grew up that way, they think this is normal.
It is.
Until someone says, no, this is wrong.
Well, it's like the movie you just saw. It was a 10-minute movie I did called Abused and Homeless. My friend Ed Warden, he's a magician as well, and he played the bad guy. And I wanted people to have a better. And my friend Elizabeth, who did a lot of research on far as abusing bad men, abusing bad women, she did a nice job on a little 10-minute film we did with Elizabeth. Oh, and she also helped with the movie I did with Finding Goddell, just a little over 3.5 years ago. I did a movie with Finding God. I played the grandmother of a famous opera singer, Tonio. Oh my God, he's a fab. He knew several hundred songs on the piano, and the virus got him and killed him.
Aww.
And that's been a little over about a year and a half ago. So now the virus it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. So burlesque was something you started when you were 12.
12 years
How
old.
long did you do burlesque?
My mother, we would perform in nightclubs in the wintertime because my dad would gamble. We had no money.
Right.
So we worked nightclubs. And again, because I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old. Back in my days, clubs were owned by gangsters.
Okay.
Well, since I didn't take my clothes off too much because I did acrobatics, fire breathing. I've been doing fire breathing and ringing by the circus since 4 or 5 years old for breathing fire. And so my show was a novelty act. See, people sometimes, you're burlesque. I said, no, burlesque don't mean just taking your clothes off. It means a variety of entertainment.
Oh, okay.
See, it's, again.
Well, because I'm used to the movie Gypsy Rose Lee, and that was basically just stripping.
Well, Stephanie, you just met her a while ago. She has a project called Burlesque Cares.
Right.
And she helps the legends of burlesque. She works with burlesque, but she don't take her clothes off. She's a novelty act.
And I think that's a misnomer about what
That's
burlesque
what
really
people
is.
do. When I say, oh, you're a stripper. What? Nothing wrong with
No.
stripping. But
that's not what you did.
It just isn't, no, because
was entertainment.
I started off at 12 years old.
Yeah.
But because I knew the pickpocketing from the carnival world, I learned to be a good pickpocket. When I learned not to do I didn't explain the geek part. Go back to the razor blade thing. When I learned how to do that. Now a few months later, I'm in the pit with the chickens and all that. And they're telling me, "But did you change up?" Well, I went up here, so I take the razor blade, pretend I was doing that.
Oh, and you would cut
and
through
I would go that, and I screamed up and down, and I'd crazy,
But you really didn't do it.
no, but it's close enough because I would
I know, yeah.
rip and I would throw the blood and things at the people in the screen that went around.
Yeah.
And people would throw bottles and hit me in the head with it. Just people can be pretty. They like crazy, bizarre things. Oh, and the movie I did when I was 18, I've been in 7 movies.
Yeah.
The first movie I was in was a star in the movie called Monster and the Stripper. They first called it The Exotic Ones with
Okay.
June and Ron Orman. And Ron Orman, I'm going to give you this here. I know you already have one.
I
over
have
there,
one, yeah.
But it's okay. I'm going to explain what it's about. The first part of the
Let's
movie
show it
is,
this way.
okay. First part of the movie is called, first part, it's got my movie that I played, back up a little bit, where I did about abused and battered women. Called Abused and Battered Women. I put that it's in here. But the documentary from Jimmy Madonna. Now, he did a book on Tammy Wynette, Al Green, and many, many other books as well. This is a documentary as well. And the movie I was in, called Monster and the Stripper. I was the star in the movie. And Sleepy LaBeef, country western star. We did it in Nashville, Tennessee, the movie called Monster and the Stripper. It's still going everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Like an old clip.
And I used to travel with the movie, sign autographs, that type of situation. And this here, can you see that right here? That is me. I was about 29. I'm 74 now. Ta-da! 74 now. I love that. I swear to God. My body's not too happy. My mind feels real good, real good. The picture you see here, I got an owl, and the owl belonged to Al Capone. Al Capone.
Oh, the owl.
He was stuffed. I was at a friend of
Oh, it
mine's
was a
house.
stuffed owl. Okay.
And like I said, back in my days, this is for you.
Okay.
And
thank you.
back in my days, clubs were owned by gangsters. Gangsters. It was back in those days. They respected me because I did the acrobatics, the fire breathing, the pickpocketing. Because I put the pickpocket on. After I learned the razor blade thing, I learned to be a really good pickpocketer. So I put it in my show. All that is behind me. I did a lot of things that wasn't right. But again, it's called
You didn't know
survival.
better.
Didn't know
Right,
any
yeah.
better. But trust me, I
And
know
plus,
better.
that's the way you were
And
raised.
I'm also, by the way, I'm also a reverend. I'm also
A reverend, yeah,
I'm
okay.
a preacher in 1980. I've had my reverend license. So I don't preach the Bible as much as I teach people to be better people, to be example. Before you go to bed at night, make sure your dishes are clean, your house is clean, your nails is clean, your clothes are laid out. So, and when you go for walks, pick up papers, carry a little bag, show people. You can't tell people they're doing wrong. Give them
Right.
example.
How can you tell they're doing wrong
Yeah,
if you're not
exactly.
if you're doing wrong?
So that's my
Right.
way of preaching
Yeah.
to people. So I don't really preach the Bible so much, even though I don't know the Bible that well. But my heart and my mind's in the right place.
Right. Right. So burlesque. How long did you do burlesque?
I just got to do New Orleans Casino.
I know this is what I wanted to talk
Okay,
about
okay.
because your friend that was here,
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Shalimar.
Stephanie. Yeah. I know it's Stephanie. I just signed
Shalimar.
2 books to her. So Stephanie basically has this organization,
Called Burlesque Cares.
and there's how many people? Or there's
I
80
think-
something. She said.
I don't know how many people. She got a lot of people, but the 7 people works with her on a steady basis.
But as far as women who were part of the burlesque movement,
I don't know. Do you get more details from her?
I
on
think
that
she
part
said
of it?
about 80 are
It sounds
part
about
of that, maybe more, are part of that organization.
And we've had a hard
Most
life.
of them are 60 or older.
Way older.
Yeah.
I'm 74.
Right.
And they're 90 and
Yeah.
like
And it's
Bambi
the legends
Jones.
of burlesque.
Yes, and I'm a legend of burlesque.
I know.
But I don't take. I stopped taking my clothes off when I was 19. I didn't have to. I had a show.
Right.
You know, the acrobatics, the fire breathing.
Well, and you keep saying take your clothes off. It's oftentimes in burlesque you didn't have to completely strip down. Often it was just to the pasties or whatever.
I didn't do any of that. I had a full bra.
But I'm just saying a
full
lot of
pants.
women in burlesque didn't go all the way.
Oh no, they would if the club would allow it or the town would allow it.
Okay.
So-
Otherwise it was just down to
Yeah, because
her.
they had a lot of things. It's called back in those days. They had a bump in the burlesque theaters. When I worked burlesque theaters, they had 8 or 9 piece bands, comedians and slapstick
It was like
comedy,
a-
Monkey Kirkland, Maxie Furman, Joseph.
Like a
Eder,
vaudeville
Pinky-
show.
It's the way it was. So I'm in variety and all. So I'm a legend of the circus, the carnivals, the bands, the boxing, and the wrestling, and burlesque. I'm not just a legend of the burlesque. And the thing we just did at the Orleans Casino, people come from all over the world just to be part of that. So
Yeah.
it went over really, really good. I did the Walk of Fame. Da-da-da-da.
And so now they're going to do that every year?
Oh, they have been doing it for many years.
They've
many,
been doing
many
it many years. Okay.
They didn't have it for the last 2 years
Okay.
because of the
all right,
virus.
All right. And Stephanie is over that organization?
No, she's not, but she's the burlesque, the older, the legends.
Okay.
She's not part of the whole. See, most
Oh.
of the people are young, new generation.
Hers is a different
Sweet Pea.
organization.
Sweet Pea takes care of the older legends.
Okay.
As far as booking them and making sure they got rooms and taking care of them. And Stephanie and Miranda Smith and Lulu Roxy, and I'm not sure who's all involved with it, but she has some good people. They're burlesque. And Miranda Smith, she books entertainment here in Las Vegas. She's also burlesque. And I'm teaching her belly dancing, Miranda Smith.
So you do belly dancing as well?
Oh, yeah. I did belly dance. I was 14, 15 years old. There's not too much I don't do.
So what are your plans now? What are you trying to do
what
now?
I'm doing, not trying, I am.
I know.
I'm
you are.
working on a movie called Wild Women of Burlesque.
Okay.
And my friend Dusty Summers is going to be in the movie. Dusty, by the way, I need her on your show too as well.
Okay.
Dusty is the only new magician.
Okay.
She does magic with hardly no clothes on.
Okay.
And she's written 5 books.
Okay.
She's owned several nightclubs.
All right.
She wrote columns in Las Vegas, and she also is a pit boss at the circus. And the movie is called Wild Women of Burlesque. And in the audience would be legends.
Okay.
And I'm only going to have about 4 legends. Gina Bonbon would be one of mine. Julie Miss would be another legend, and then Dusty Summers would be the other legend in the audience. And then my mother, which is already passed, she passed away. I'm going to have a first stole sitting on a chair with a big screen that shows my mother, pictures of her, and Paradise from New York City will be playing my mother on stage. So each legend goes on stage. The new generation will be on stage representing the legends in the audience.
Right.
The club, this movie will have 3. It's called Toby's Hideaway. It's about lady gangsters.
Okay.
And I'll be the main lady gangster. And when the telephone goes off, red telephone goes off, that means a man or a woman is being abused.
Oh.
Now, we're good lady gangsters. We're not let the men get out and beat people up and all that.
Right.
And I'm going to be doing magically, zapping people, making their heads turn around and doing zap. Because when they do somebody wrong.
Almost like a voodoo.
Yeah, variety thing. Not with 2x4s and baseball bats and guns like the old ways the guys beat. So we're lady gangsters.
Right.
And I'm going to have strong, healthy women go catch these men or women when I see the phone, and they'll have a vision. When I see it's happening, we get them, take them under Las Vegas, and whatever you did to her or him, do the exact same thing to vice versa.
Ah.
Show
So
them how
payback.
it feels. Exactly.
So how long have you been in Vegas?
Since 2010.
Okay. What brought you to Vegas?
My mother passed away in 2008. Dusty Summers, my close friend, she's a Georgette. We had the major parade company in Louisiana. So you need to come to Vegas, so I come to Vegas, 2010. Since then, I met Catherine Duncan in a garage sale. She was selling some things. She's running for mayor of Las Vegas. She's a big, tall black lady. And back in my days in the carnival, we couldn't sell tickets to people of color.
Really?
So we couldn't do it. We weren't allowed to. I'd be in the ticket box say, I'm sorry, I can't sell you a ticket. My daddy finally built another show, a black show for people, black ladies
Oh, a
performing.
separate show.
The white people go and see the white cootie, the black cootie, but they couldn't go, the black people couldn't go and see the white cootie. The naked girl. Just the way
Yeah.
it was. Just the way
Wow,
it was.
that's
Can't change.
amazing.
So anyway, so Catherine Duncan was running for mayor. She took me back to the house. It's a historical house built in 1942, and Harry Belafonte, Sammy Davis Jr. I was the vice president on that same house later on through the months. She's got to help me run for mayor. She saw my band. My band's got all kind of movie star Bob Hope and Buddy Hack and Chubby Checker and Fats
These are all the
Dollar.
people you met,
Worked with.
worked with.
That's some I worked with. I worked with Bob Hope, Chubby Checker. I want him in the movie as well. So anyway, she went back, and then she said, I'm running for mayor. She's a black lady, so she's tall, she's a lady, she's running for mayor. This is 2010. Then she came in number 18, so I switched over and helped Chris Giuliani run for mayor. Then I become good friends with Carolyn Goodman. So the last 2 times Carolyn Goodman ran for mayor, I was there for her. About 3 weeks, it was Mother's Day. Carolyn Goodman, I brought her some presents to the office. She called me, she said, Georgette, I love the present. I love the present. It's so beautiful. Scarves and purses and pocketbooks. You're so precious. You have a... And I said, Carolyn, this is the mayor, Carolyn Goodman. I said, I want Oscar to be in the movie. Oh, he'd be so good for that. He'd be so good for that. So Oscar going to be playing, start off the movie. I'm going to have him start off the movie, talking about the gangsters and also the Mob Museum. And then talking about how the lady's going to show how it should be taken care of.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to be in the movie. I want you to be one of the men gangsters. For real, seriously.
We can go back to my era, the 70s and 80s when I first moved here originally.
I just put a gangster hat on you and the red. You already got a red tie and a black
know,
shirt. I already got that look.
Got
And
it.
the silver hair. That'll work.
Yeah. I actually met Oscar at the Mob Museum, and he had his book come out. His
Okay.
last book come out, and he was doing signings there. So,
I love her. Carolyn
well, this was
Goodman.
Oscar.
No, but
Carolyn right now.
well, I'm just talking about Carolyn. I know them both. They're good friends of mine, close friends. And I've been to many of her meetings. When I go to the meetings, when she wanted to bring sports and things to Las Vegas, when the other politicians, they gave her such a horrible time. It won't work. It's no way. Blah blah blah. I mean, at meeting after the same, I go to lectures. They gave her a horrible time. And then when it finally happened, I got on TV. I did a show. I did a TV show, not a TV show, but a filming about pornography at the city hall.
Okay.
So, and I said I'm for it and I'm against it.
Okay.
If we didn't have pornography, there'd be a lot more rapes, and murders going on.
Probably.
And the part I'm against is the children and the animals.
Right.
But if we didn't have pornography, we'd be like I said, and I use pornography because I don't date. I haven't dated since 1978.
I know.
It gives me release. So I don't give me stupid. I don't make stupid mistakes. I got a vibrator named Hummer. We do just fine. Trust me.
All right, Georgette, you're sharing too much now.
No, they heard singing on those shows, so they're used to it.
Right.
I know. Okay, back to Carolyn Goodman. The reason I was moving to Nashville, Tennessee about 8 years ago. I come here in 2010, and because she does such a beautiful job, when she became the mayor and I helped her run the second 2 times in a row after that, she is the only reason I stayed in Las Vegas.
Really?
It's not because of Vegas. Vegas is nice, it's great. Nashville, Tennessee, in my heart, would have been better because it's a smaller place. You can move around better, you do different things better. Because I'm so happy with Carolyn Goodman, what she does.
Aww.
This is the reason I stay in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's really nice.
It is. It's not people, oh, Vegas, it's big, big. No, because I respect what she's doing for the people, and she really has a right. She is a mother image Las Vegas needed.
Yeah.
And Oscar, he's a character. They're a great teamwork.
I knew, Oscar didn't know, but our paths crossed back in the 1980, I think it was, when he was representing someone who owned the Aladdin Hotel. There was the whole story behind that.
Ah.
This was the end of the mob era, actually. Back
Oh, it's
then.
never the end.
Well,
No, it's not
For
the
what
end.
we know of.
No. I'm explaining what it is. 'Cause I was involved with the gangsters for many, many years. Besides that, I used to buy money laundry, collect money. I was involved with John Gotti and Johnny Masher. I was good about collecting money. And what they do now, the gangsters, they put the kids through schools so they become lawyers, and
right.
senators.
It's a new way of.
It's a
right,
way of
yeah,
handling.
yeah.
They handle you with paperwork, not with
Yeah.
guns and 2x4s.
But by the late 70s, what was known as the traditional mob was disappearing. Oh, I think that's your phone.
Yeah, it
We'll
will.
get it in a minute. So anyway, we're going to wind the show down. So I want to...
Before we go, you
Sure.
were talking about, I was a star here in Las Vegas in 75 and 76 at the Royal Casino.
Oh, what did you do there?
It used to be a casino.
Right.
I was on the marquee. I had a show there.
Right.
Called the Rare and Bear Show.
I know where the Royal Casino was.
Right across the Stardust. I was on the marquee for 2 years.
Yeah.
On the
Now,
marquee.
that's the one Mrs. Brooks owns.
I don't know who
Yeah,
owns it now.
Mrs.
Bob
Brooks
Harry.
owns it.
Bob. I think Bob Harry had it at the time.
Yeah.
And Johnny. Had
Well, it's
it at
still
the time.
there.
But I was there almost 2 years on the marquee. Oh, it's still there, but it's
Yeah.
only a hotel now.
Yeah, Mrs. Brooks. Well, yeah. I know I worked there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. In fact, I used to work at the Debbie Reynolds down the street from there.
Oh, no kidding. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I used to work there. I knew Debbie.
Oh,
So,
Debbie,
yeah.
Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie.
So anyway, where can we learn more about you? I know you have Facebook.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Basically, Facebook, just Georgette Dante. If you want to write to me, hey, but I need 80 to 100 million. Because I'm gonna have movies, commercials, recording studios, and I'm also going to rent the place out for birthdays, weddings, banquets, balls, and the property's going to be big enough that I can rent it out for car shows, antique shows, and the place will be used 24 hours a day. And my bands, different bands, the Hubba Hubba Band, Mobile, Alabama. My ex-husband, Ronnie Evans, he plays organ, one of the best organ players. A lot of old-time musicians will come to Las Vegas, and will inspire the new generation of musicians, and vice versa.
Okay.
Old school, new school.
So they can find you on Facebook.
That's Georgette Dante.
Georgette Dante. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll put that on make sure that when
Okay.
on the
Good.
interview people will know where to find you.
Okay.
Okay.
Boop, boop.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show
Love
today.
you.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
He's special. Cute as button, Eddie.
All right. Thank
He'd
you
be
for watching
cute
today.
little gangster.
Thank you for watching.
Boop, boop.